أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent and the most merciful. Here we are again in Pakistan International School Taif virtual learning system. So, as you know very well, this is our class 6 social study book which we are following in this lesson. So, this is our fifth fifth lesson or fifth lecture in which we will learn chapter 3, winds and cyclones. In this chapter, we will learn about number 1, winds, number 2, cyclones, number 3, anticyclones, number 4, tornado or hurricanes. So, here we are on the page number 12, and this is chapter 3, winds and cyclones. So, first we will read and then I will give you its explanation also. So, now we are reading it. Winds is moving air. It can range from gentle breeze of 5 km per hour to the stronger gales of over 200 km per hour. So these are the wind's speed. How much? 5. The gentle breeze will be 5 km per hour, and if it is stronger gales, it have 200 km per hour. Winds usually blow from one direction at a time, but sometimes they spin round and round in spirals, like at this one. These are the spirals, one direction, and this is the other spiral in the other directions. These are called cyclones and anticyclones. So look at here, the cyclones and anticyclones. The cyclones in one direction and anticyclones in the opposite direction. The spinning air sometimes thousands of kilometers across in the case of anticyclones. In the case of anticyclones, the wind blow across the thousands of kilometers, means it covers thousands of kilometers of uh, distance, is usually caused when a cold air from a polar region meets a warmer wet air from the tropics. So the cyclones and anticyclones are produced when the two types of the airs will mix together. One air from the polar region which meets a warmer air from the tropics. Tropics means where there is a lot of rainfall, and the polar regions, from the polar regions, the air is very cold. When it meets with a tropics warmer air, then they will produce sometimes of the cyclones and anticyclones. So now we are going into the cyclones. So in a cyclone, the winds spin round in an anti-clockwise direction in the northern hemisphere and clockwise in the southern hemispheres. Now we will discuss about what are the northern hemispheres and the southern hemisphere. If we are looking our earth, so earth have uh, we have already learned in the last lectures. So earth have the central line which is called the equator, and upward to the 90-degree is a north pole, and upward to the down is a south pole. So half of our earth to the upward is called a north or north pole. So this half is called the northern hemisphere, and this downward is called a southern hemisphere. So here we are discussing about the northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere, how they affect the wind, and how the cyclones and anticyclones are produced due to different hemispheres. So in a cyclone, the winds spin round in anti-clockwise direction in the northern hemisphere. So look at this one. This is the northern hemisphere, and winds are moving anti-clockwise. As you know, the clockwise means as our watch or our so northern hemisphere, the winds are moving anti-clockwise, and on southern hemisphere, the winds are moving clockwise. So here are anti-clockwise, and here are southern hemisphere are clockwise. The air pressure on the earth is low, especially in tropical seasons. The winds can reach well over 200 kilometers per hour and results in immense damage. So air pressure, as you know very well, when the air pressure drops, the winds or the cloudy, the season will be like as a cloudy, and the low pressure will be produces due to low pressure. So wind can reach well over a 200 kilometers per hour. So speed of the wind will be at the 200 kilometers per hour, and if the speed of air will be more, then it will be results in a immense damage, or because due to its speed of the wind is very much, so it produces cyclones. Scientists have calculated that even a medium strength of a cyclone has the power of 500,000 of a nuclear bomb. Look at here, this is the nuclear bomb pictures. So if a medium strength cyclone have also a very much it produces very much destruction, like as a million of nuclear of bombs produces a destruction. So now we are talking about the cyclones. Cyclones are smaller than anticyclones, but the wind speed are much stronger. In the center of the cyclone, the eye, look at this. This is the center of the cyclone, and here it is the eye of cyclone. In the center of the cyclone, the eye, the wind speed are much less. Cyclones means bad, stormy weather with a lot of rain. So look at this. This is a one picture of a cyclone, and this center shows the eye. So cyclone means a bad, stormy weather with a lot of rain. So look at this picture. Here we are two types of the cyclones, cyclone and anticyclone. The Bay of Bengal and the coastal areas around it down to the western coast of India are a cyclone affected regions. So in western coast of India and in the Bay of Bengal are the coastal areas where there are to be produces a lot of cyclones affected regions. Bengal is particularly affected by a cyclones which cause a lot of destruction. So here we are talking about the anticyclones. In the previous one, we have talked about the cyclones. Now we are talking about the anticyclones. Anticyclones, in an anticyclone, the winds go round in a clockwise direction in the northern hemisphere. So look at this one. This is the northern hemisphere, and the winds will move in a clockwise direction like this. Like in this picture, the winds move in a clockwise direction. And the opposite direction in the southern hemisphere, in this is the southern hemisphere, and opposite direction, look at this one, anti-clockwise direction, we will say this, anti-clockwise direction or opposite direction in the southern hemisphere. In the northern hemisphere, the winds will blow in a clockwise direction. And in a southern hemisphere, the winds will move anti-clockwise direction, or we will say that opposite direction to the southern hemisphere. So they press down on the surface of the earth, creating a high pressure. So due to why the winds will blow downward and producing a high pressure. You can remember this by thinking of screwing a screw into a piece of a wood. When we are screwing a piece of screw in a piece of wood, it will go downward, deep into deep. So as you turn the screw clockwise, as we are turning a screw in a clockwise direction, it presses more and more on the wood. The high pressure of an anticyclone usually means the fine, warm, and dry weather. The winds are usually fairly gentle. So I think you have understand very well anticyclones, cyclones and anticyclones. So now we are talking about the tornadoes, a much smaller but much more violent kind of a cyclone is called a tornado or a hurricane. So what we have learned in previous pages, the cyclones and anticyclones. The cyclones more violent, the cyclones or anticyclones which are more violent are called tornado or hurricanes. These form over the sea. Tornadoes mostly form over the sea and can be only a few hundred meters across, but wind speed can be as much as 400 kilometers to 600 kilometers per hour. So in the previous pages we have learned the speed of cyclones and anticyclones is 100 to 200, but here for the tornadoes, the speed of tornadoes will be more than cyclones and anticyclones. It will be approximately 400 to 600 kilometers per hour. Sometimes they suck up a vast amount of water from the sea to form a swirling column of water called a twister. Look at in this picture. So these are the different type of the, look at it here in the sea, the tornadoes are produces, and swirling column, it have also the swirling column of water called a twister or water spout. The tornado often moves from sea to land where it can do a great damage, destroying houses and lifting a cars into the air for distances of over a kilometers. In Pakistan, a tornado is called an andhi when it is over a land, and a tufan over the sea. In a Pakistan, tornado is called the andhi. Andhi means the overland wind blowing is called the andhi. But on the surface of land, the tornado is produces is called tufan. On the land is called the tufan, and on the sea are called andhi. In very dry places such as Balochistan, the twister column of air sometimes sucks up huge quantities of sand and is called a dust devil. When same tornado produced by a sand is called dust devil. So I think it is clear for you the tornado, how the tornado is produces and what is the speed of tornado. It is clear from this. So this is end of this chapter. Now we are doing our question and answers of this session. of this chapter. So now here we have a first question. Work in a small group to collect and present information about cyclones in South Asia. So you can discuss, or you can see on from the net, you can collect information about the cyclones in the South Asia. So here the three questions are arises for this session. Question number one is, which part were most affected by the cyclones? So the question and the answer number one is the Bay of Bengal and the coastal areas around it down to the western coast of India are cyclones affected by the cyclones, which causes a lot of destruction. Question number two, in which season do cyclones mostly occur? The cyclones answer, the cyclones mostly occur in region where cold air from a polar regions meet warmer wet air from the tropics. This we have learned in our last pages of our lesson, so it is clear for you. And question number three, which is your homework, how many cyclones have hit South Asia in the last 2 years? You can follow the net and you can get the answer of this question. So now the second portion of our exercise is to complete these paragraph, and this is your homework. You will complete these fill in the blanks. You can read it very well from the book lesson 3, and then you can easily find the answers of these blanks. So thank you very much. Our this class is going to finish. Thank you all. Thank you very much to all, and wish you all the best.